Following guest needs no introduction, but I'll go ahead and do it. Let's please welcome perennial NBA All-Star, Basketball Hall of Famer, and now the founder of the Ones Basketball League, Tracy McGrady.
Oh, shit.
Thanks,
What's up, brother? I don't know why I'm here.
Yeah,
They invited me.
we're here to talk basketball.
All right.
So, good place to start, a little bit. Wanted to ask you about Ones Basketball League. You're the founder. Can you tell us, why one-on-one? Why now?
For me, one-on-one is just a pure essence, the foundation of basketball. Growing up as a kid, that's all I did. And I'm sure some people in this room grew up playing, one-on-one basketball against their siblings, against friends. For me, it's where I really learned how to be tough because I had no help. And it was me just trying to figure it out, right? I remember my siblings, we used to have a clothes hanger. This is how real it was. We used to take a clothes hanger, kind of ball it up to make up a rim and hang it up, in the doorway and ball up a pair of socks, and that was our ball, and we used to play one-on-one basketball that way. And even going outside, having a milk crate, hanging it up against, the tree. So for me, it's just the pure essence of basketball. Creating this is, I know everyone can't play in the NBA. There's 450 players in the NBA. You have some guys go across seas, but a lot of these guys have been told that they're not good enough. A lot of doors have been shut. And I figured, why not start a one-on-one league to where everybody has liberation to do whatever they want to do, to create a name for themselves, to showcase their ability. If you look at, to me, when you're training for an hour and a half with a trainer or 2 hours, and you go and play 5-on-5 basketball, you might be, whatever training you're doing with your trainer might not be conducive to the role that a coach will put you in, right? So a lot of these guys can get frustrated because you might be a guy that, growing up, you had the ball in your hands the whole time. Now a coach is putting you in a corner and your role is limited, and it can be frustrating. And I've had these conversations with a lot of guys in the NBA that it's pretty tough to adapt mentally. So creating this league is for those type of players. And, we have 22 of those guys here in Vegas right now competing for $250,000.
That's amazing. And I think you've talked about this. There's so many talented players out there. How's the OBL? How are you finding your players? How do you go about, you ranking them? Tell us more about that part of it.
So how we found our players, thank God for social media, right? Mm-hmm. And I personally send these guys messages. I have relationships with a lot of, the guys out here that there are underground one-on-one leagues that, these guys might not know about. So they are one-on-one leagues. They're underground, and it's locally. But I reach out to guys that have pro-ams that run those leagues, and some of these guys play in these leagues, and they can't believe that it's me actually reaching out to them to be a part of OBL. The response I get is like, "This is no way this is a team match," yeah. Right? So that's how we get a lot of our guys. It's really through relationships and social media.
And some of the guys reach out to you?
Some of the guys reach out to me, and it's become so popular now that I'm getting reached out from guys in London and other countries because they're hearing about OBL and they want to be a part of this. So it's getting legs, and that is a great thing to have.
Well, that's a good point. You've got, like you say, you got guys reaching out from other countries. Game of basketball is as big as it's ever been. It's growing. There's 3-on-3 basketball in the Olympics now. One's basketball league. Do you have a vision that OBL is going not just city by city, but country by country around the world?
So the goal for me, and what I would love to see with OBL, being the founder of this, my vision was for OBL to be global. I think with my team, once we identify what the model is here in North America, then I think in tune we can take that model and license that out to other countries, right? So we're trying to find who the ruler of the court here in the United States, right? We take that, license that out to these other countries, and have them identify what their ruler is, right? Then we create our own OBL Olympics. This could be the first global league that's ever been built, and that's, you know, what I see in 3 to 5 years with this league. That's where we're shooting for.
And, I mean, you know, nowadays, especially like the younger demographic, Gen Z, everybody's gonna say Gen Z, right? But everybody's on their phone all the time. I think a real opportunity for building a league or building a new property is, you know, you can create an experience, entertainment from that league or that sport, and it's good in short form, short clips. It's you know. So how does the style and the way that, you know, one-on-one basketball is played in OBL, how's that good for the phone? How's that, you know?
Well, I'll tell you this. I have 2 sons. They're 16 and they're 13, and for years I've been trying to get my sons to sit down and watch live sporting events with me. They can't do it. Their attention span is just not there. They'll sit down for 5 minutes and they're off and they're on their phones. My AAU, I have an AAU program, and those kids are the same exact way. Like, they just don't have the attention span to watch live sporting events. So that was part of me creating this, because most of our audience is from 18 to 34, right? This speaks to them. These guys, they don't watch TV anymore. Everything is on their phone, right? Everything is on their phone. It's just the short content. So that's how we're building our league. Yes, we probably could have went and, you know, struck a television deal, but I think growing it digitally the way we're doing it, because that's where our core audience is, and that's, you know, where I feel our best chance to really expand this league and then take it to where we want to go.
Yeah, and I mean, I know, I think when I was talking to your team, they mentioned, you know, you guys use Greenfly, you get content in the hands of those players fast, but I think one of the, you know, best things about OBL and the game one-on-one is there's a lot to be told about that player, you know, telling the story of the player. Like, what does it mean for the guys?
So it's connecting our audience with our players, really telling these guys stories, their backgrounds, you know, what they're about, what they like. You know, I've seen leagues before. Let me rephrase that. I've seen one-on-one tournaments before.
Yeah, that's true.
I've seen one-on-one tournaments before, and I think that's where they missed out on, is really connecting the audience to their players and really telling the stories. And that's where we come in at. These guys have been phenomenal of being available and willing to share their stories. Our fans are connecting to these guys now. They identify who they are. And I think add another element to OBL is the ranking system, right? No one has thought about creating a ranking system for the league. And I think that really differentiates us from any other tournament that tried to do one-on-one basketball. Reason being, I go back to when I was in 11th grade, right? I grew up in Central Florida, small town called Arbondale, Florida, 10,000 people. And I was one of the best high school players in that area, but outside that, our little radius, nobody knew who the hell I was. And, you know, this guy comes down, I'm playing spring football, this guy comes down from Ocala, Florida, and he had affiliation with Adidas. And he gave me this invite to the Adidas camp, which was called ABCD. It's the nationally ranked high school elite camp. I knew nothing about this camp, right? I'm in my own little bubble. And I go to this basketball camp and I'm hearing about all these top players in the nation. I got to play against these guys. So I go to this camp and I'm playing against Lamar Odom, 6'10" point guard out of New York City, and some of these other top high school guys, and I hold my own. But more importantly, I come out of this basketball camp ranked #1 in the country, right? And it's not that I changed as a basketball player. It was just a platform that I got on that ranked these players that elevated me to another level. And that's the same thing I'm doing for these players. You know, now they're nationally ranked as the best, you know, one-on-one player in the nation. And with that comes, you know, other opportunities. So that's why we created the ranking system.
And eventually best in the world.
The best in the world. That's what, I'm looking for, the best in the world. Because we do talk about, who's the GOAT of basketball. Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kobe. But that's in a 5-on-5 setting. This is just, UFC style type mano. Let's see who the baddest mug out here.
I think a lot of people probably when they think about one-on-one think, well, there's going to be a big dude out there. He's 6'10". He's just going to back somebody up and he's going to win every time. But that's not true, is it?
No, so I'm glad we didn't have to deal with that because that was a concern of mine. Like having a guy like Shaq trying to guard, Allen Iverson. Like I don't want to see that shit at all. Like that's not fun to me. I want to see one-on-one basketball. To me, it's skills, right? I want to see skill work. So we've been lucky enough throughout this. This season, we call it proof of concept season, that we didn't have that. But what I do want to come back, and it's really like, adding more to OBL is, I do want to create, instead of weight classes like UFC, I want to create height classes. So now, you have your 6'3" and under guys can compete against each other. And then I want to show the big guys some love as well. If you're a guy that played with your back towards the basket, I want to show you some love and have them a part of OBL. But yeah, I don't want to see, a big guy just backing down a little man. Like that's not fun to me to watch.
That makes sense. So different classes, going global.
And to give people a better understanding of, the idea of one-on-one basketball and these players, like it's amazing that we've been able to identify some of these guys that I've never heard of, put them on this platform. Now come on, man. I landed in freaking Vegas yesterday and I see signs all over the airport with these guys on there. Like that, to me, that's an amazing feeling for these guys, giving them opportunity. When doors have been shut for these dudes. And this is not me going out and getting investors to start this league. Like this is out of my own pocket, everything I'm doing, because I truly believe that there is guys out there that we can start this league and be entertaining. We just sit down and watch, 2.5 hours of great one-on-one basketball, and that's been proven over this season. But, if you look at how UFC formed, who the heck, I didn't know any of these fighters before they got on the UFC platform. Now these guys are mega stars.
Yep.
Just take, a page out of that book and create these stars from OBL in a one-on-one setting.
I love it. Going back to what you were saying earlier, because I think it makes a difference too as more opportunities emerge to make more money in and around the sport. You talked about the camp and Adidas. NIL, really big topic right now. Really big topic.
Where are you going with this?
I'll tell you where I'll go with it. You're a guy that went straight out of high school into the league. Do you think? I know we were chatting. I mentioned. College football, there's guys getting deals, $8, $9, $10, $11 million. They're backloaded for the second, third year because in football you can't go to the league until after your third year. Do you think if you were playing now, do you think you would have gone somewhere like Kentucky and taken a $12 million deal?
So I was going to Kentucky until Adidas came to the table with a 6-year deal, $12 million. If I had an opportunity to strike a NIL deal in high school, number one, that deal probably wouldn't be as massive as a football player because football players have to stay 3 years. I didn't see myself staying 3 years. I came out of high school. So I couldn't see myself turning down a 6-year deal for $12 million for maybe $1 million, $2 million. I still will. It'll make me think, but my decision will still be the same. But cool. But did you say somebody is making $11 million in college?
That's reportedly,
A football player?
Quarterbacks. There's been one quarterback, $8.5 million.
I probably would have changed sports there. $11 million in college? Come on.
College football is loaded right now.
Man.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's big time. And then there was another guy signed for like $8 million quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, quarterbacks.
I had a cannon too, guys. Football, you know what's crazy? And I tell this story all the time. Like, basketball was actually my third sport.
Third?
Yeah, baseball was my first sport. Football is my second sport. And basketball is my third. Like, love baseball. I started baseball at 5 years old, played all the way up to my junior year. The reason I didn't pursue it is because, you know, I was so good at basketball, I had to get out of Florida and get on a national, you know, gain that national exposure. So I transferred and went to Durham, North Carolina to a school, and that's when my basketball career took off. But baseball was like, that was my love, and still is to this day.
Tom Brady's lucky you didn't play quarterback.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have 7 Super Bowls.
Possibly.
So, I mean, is you working with Adidas on OBL? What does the future look like with Adidas?
With Adidas?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Put me in a tough situation right now. It's rocky. It's rocky. It's rocky. And, you know, I've been with Adidas for 25 years. Yeah, I think we're coming to an end.
Really?
Yeah. I think we're coming to an end. Tweet it. Put it on Instagram. Like, whatever you want to do, I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Because the treatment that I've gotten from them over the last 10 years, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I deserve better. So, yeah, I think it's coming to an end.
T-Mac said hit the phone.
And this is why I have this attitude. Because when I started OBL, I was told I couldn't pull this off by Adidas. So that's why I feel that way.
You know, we were talking earlier, talking about NIL and, you know, just the development of game and women's basketball, women's soccer. There's all kinds of just landmark things happening. You know, you have soccer clubs over in Europe filling 85,000 people in stadiums, and you know, women's college basketball, Final Four, like largest TV numbers in history. And clearly the audience is there. I mean, what are you thinking around women and the OBL?
We gotta do more for our women's, man. I love women's sports. I love college softball World Series. I watch volleyball, basketball. I watch the tournament. And I've never really understood. I even had this conversation with some friends of mine. Like, when I'm watching the College World Series of softball, the stadium is packed. So I'm like, why can't we extend these girls' careers beyond their collegiate career in softball? Why isn't it a professional softball career? Like, I don't understand that. Obviously, the support is there because I am seeing this. I am seeing these stadiums packed with fans. And when it speaks to, you know, the professional players in the WNBA, like, do you know how hard it is to play at that level and travel commercial? Like, that's unfair treatment. So if the WNBA, if the head of the WNBA is really not so consumed with taking care of their players, what do they expect for the fans? Like, they're not giving their all to their players. Like, there's no way after all these years in the WNBA that they should be traveling commercial. Imagine having to play in a double or triple overtime, and then you have a late flight that you gotta rush to the airport, catch a flight, get into the next city early in the morning, gotta go through security, right? You gotta wait for your bags, then you gotta get to the hotel, who knows how much sleep they get, and gotta do that all over again. Like, that's unfair treatment to me. There's no way they deserve that type of treatment, because these girls play at a high level. They're highly skilled, and I think they deserve better. And then on top of that, you know, having to go across seas just to make a great living, these women want to start a family, right? So imagine playing for, 5 or 6 months here, and then got to go across seas for another 2 or 3 months? Like, nah, that's not cool at all. We got to figure something out for these women.
Well, we have a artist, Carlin Jackson, painting a picture back there.
Oh, that's dope.
What's up? And,
that's dope. I don't see me back there, though.
It's all women. But, I mean, Brittany Griner's back there. I mean, to your point, she was playing over in Russia.
To my point, though, why is she even in Russia?
Right.
Brittany is one of the elite players in the game in the WNBA, have won championships, defensive player of the years, and accomplished so much. Why she has to go to Russia to make more money? to stay here. I don't really understand it, and I hate it for them. And like I said, they have to figure something out for these women because they are, putting in a lot of work, and it's very entertaining watching them play basketball.
So we're going to see women's OBL?
We're going to see women's OBL, yes. I've actually been having conversations with Cheryl Swoops about spearheading that division for me. So, we can expect to see OBL women's next season. Yeah.
Next season?
Yeah, next season, yeah, for sure.
I love it. And so how will, when you think about, again, you said it's like proof of concept this year. So next year you're saying you got different height classes. Is that coming next year?
We're going to test that out later on in the fall or the winter. We're going to give it a better test to see how that goes, but that is the goal. But expanding, how are we going to expand OBL? So we did 6 cities this year, and in those 6 cities, it was a 2-day event. So Saturday, we start off with 32 players. And by the end of Saturday, we have 8 players that then compete on Sunday for the championship. And that top guy will win $10,000. The top 3 gets the automatic invite to Las Vegas. So next year, we're looking to do 10 to 12 cities. Mm-hmm. I think, that'll be the expansion on OBL for next year.
Does that mean the prize money goes up next year?
Well, we got to see about that. 250 is already
we got the new Slam magazine that dropped today. I think you're on the cover.
Yeah.
But, just looking at that special, edition and thinking about your career, and like you said, you have, I know you have a lot of guys that come to you and you give advice to, like going back to what we were talking about with NIL and endorsements. What do you tell players coming up when it comes to building their career and endorsements and just where we are today?
Well, listen, I can only, speak on my experience. And when you are, being pitched a deal by these companies, hold them accountable, right? Make sure when they sit across from you face to face and they pitch you the deal and what the future looks like, hold them accountable. Make sure they live up to that contract. And also protect yourself, having that contract that if you don't live up to that, I got a way up out of here, right? Because it's not fair. Yeah, you can clap on that because that's real.
That's some claps.
It's real. And I'm speaking from experience because a lot of times, they'll get across from you and they will sell you a dream. And it sounds amazing of some of the things that they want to do for you. But it rarely happens, right? So I would say just protect yourself in the contract. Listen to the pitch. If something that, sounds good to you, go with it, but make sure you are protected. And that's my advice to them.
Do you think, are the agents doing enough? Like to your point, you're being pitched a dream. How much, that's a lot for the player, especially that age that, you got somebody putting that in front of you. Do the agents need to do more to help the players?
Well,
what do you think the players
But you know what you like, though. Like, your agent is there to work for you and give you advice, but you know what you like as a player. You know what you want out of your deal. You don't live your agent's dream. No, this is your dream, right? This is what you want, how you see, your brand being put out to the world.
And when you were coming up, were there other guys in the league that helped you?
I had a lot of guys that helped me. I was fortunate enough in my second year in the NBA that I had like some real true veterans. Charles Oakley, Dale Curry, Muggsy Bogues, D. Brown, Kevin Willis, Antonio Davis. Like I had some real true vets. And these guys at the time was pushing 40, right? And I'm an 18, 19-year-old kid fresh out of high school, still trying to learn the game and understand how to be a professional and conducting myself, and to see these guys come into practice, every day and work on their bodies. That was one of the most important things for me is like these guys take care of their bodies. And I was only projected to play 3 years in the league because I got a slight case of scoliosis in my back. So I was really only projected to play 3 or 4 years in the NBA. So that's what I really concentrated on. You know, I had back problems throughout my career, but I managed, you know, to still play at a high level in the league and, you know, have a successful career. But, you know, having those vets was really important because I would have been lost.
And then, I mean, just again, thinking back on OBL and your vision, like you said, being told you couldn't do it, you're doing it obviously, so that was wrong. I mean, you're investing in yourself. So is that part of what you get out of starting OBL as well, like the challenge? I mean, creating a startup is hard. Anything from the ground up, it's hard. If anybody's done it.
It is hard. You know, for you know, a while, it was just me invested in other people's dreams. And, you know, I had a lot of people coming to me like they had the best damn thing smoking. You know, and none of it really panned out. So it just went back to, what's your passion, bro? What is your passion, man? What are you passionate about? And it was basketball, right? It all came back to basketball. And this is the first time in my life, in my career, I should say, that I invested in me, right? And that was so important because, you know, it's how I see, you know, my vision playing out, and that's the beauty of it. You know, I visualized this thing for many of nights, and it was just about putting my GM hat on now, right? It's putting my GM hat on, now I gotta go and put the team together, right? So I went and got Jeffrey Pollack, who is just the Michael Jordan of, you know, the business world. He's a monster, and he was supposed to be here today. Sorry he's not here. He has COVID right now, dealing with that, but Jeffrey he's a monster in this space. And then I went and got one of my friends, was doing the creative side, Lau Bowen, who's in the audience. And then, you know, I went and got a great production team, Hard and Hustle, and we just built it, man. So, you know, it was really about, you know, getting the right pieces to the puzzle to really build OBL. And, you know, proof of concept season it over-exceeded my expectations of where we are today.
And like you said, right pieces, right people, the people around you, it matters. But it's hard. It's hard to build something from the ground up.
It is. I mean, you know, when you're putting millions of dollars out of your own pocket into something, you better believe it, and you better get the right people, you know, around you to be able to see that vision and help bring it to life. And, you know, I think, you know, we've accomplished that, and it's pretty cool, man. On top of that, even if we don't have another season, for me, it's pretty damn cool to see that the guys that are part of OBL, to have them come up to me and say, man, you changed my life. You know, and they're getting other opportunities out of that. You can't beat that. That's success. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's amazing what you can do when you just have the right support system and you go out and just do it. Like I said, these boys are so just grateful for this opportunity that I changed their life. Like, come on, man. That's pretty cool.
That's amazing. You get to not only build a business, but like you said, you see it in action and changing somebody's life. I mean, it's about the money. It is, because you got to make money. Obviously, if you're building something, it's a business. But like you said, you walked up, you're in Vegas, and I mean, you see these guys up on big screens, and it's all here.
Yeah. No, it's, you know, I've found, you know, something that I really look forward to doing. Because I did ESPN for 4.5 years, and once the pandemic hit, like I got out of that, and then I started this, and it, like every weekend of OBL, it just brought a sense of just happiness and joy, and just watching these players that I know, you know, have been told that they're not good enough, some doors shut, and to see how happy these guys are now, to see my kids. Like when I was working for ESPN, bro, when LeBron and the Cleveland Cavaliers were playing Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry in the finals year after year, my kids knew I were going to these games. My boys, they didn't ask me to go not one time. They care less. But OBL, from the first city, they saw that. They haven't missed a city. Like, they love OBL, love it. And, you know, that's amazing. You know, that we've created something that, you know, speaks to my kids, and that they didn't want to go see Steph Curry and LeBron James. Like, come on, man. That's amazing.
That's how you got something special. Thank you, Tracy.
Appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
That's all? We done? Thought we had some more.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, guys. All right.
See, look, they looking like, damn, that's it? Unless somebody got a question.
Oh, we got questions? No?
I knew it. I should have walked off the stage.
Tracy, you had a chance. You had a chance.
I did.
My name's from Alexandria, Virginia. I talked to you earlier. I said, like, the OBL Finals. How does it feel, you know, as you are moving in your own way, giving back to the community, everything that you've been doing? You can hear me? You guys good? All right.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, so I have a couple friends back home who, you know, played at FIU, and they talked to me about you, and some of them grew up in Arbondale, and, you know, the power of giving back. They told me you literally give the shoes off your feet, the clothes off your back for them. My question to you is, like, how do you feel about your legacy, you know, not only in, like, you know, just the basketball sense, but like how you, like, connect with all these people, you know, on like a personal basis?
You know, honestly, man, I was telling somebody this the other day, like, I have a hard time because I come from, you know, a small town. So even now, I have a hard time of being me and being this celebrity. It's tough for me. I want to be normal. You know what I mean? I want to be normal. I cringe when people tell me that, you know, I inspired them. I love what you did for the game of basketball, or you're my idol, and just praise me. I have a hard time of just dealing with that. I know it's weird. It may sound crazy, but that's how I am. When where I come from, my grandmother. I grew up with my grandmother. My grandmother was a janitor at my elementary school. My mom worked at Disney. She was a housekeeper. So, you know, I didn't have it all when I was coming up. I grew up, you know, below, you know, middle class, and the area that I grew up in Central Florida, was probably the biggest drug-infested neighborhood in our county. So I had to deal with that, you know, every single day, of seeing, you know, people, men, women on drugs, people getting shot. You know the story. Like, I've seen it all. So growing up in those, you know, in that setting, I don't wish that upon nobody. Right? I wish no one grows up that way. So for me to make it up out of that, knowing that I still have some of those people back home that are living that way, my job is to provide hope for them, right? And give them the opportunity to better themselves. And that's all I could do, is just go back home, provide that hope, and encourage them that if I made it out, you can make it out. And it's just a mindset of where you want to go. Have a destination where you want to go. I had a destination, and I wasn't going to let anything deviate me off my course from where I wanted to go.
Hey Tracy, I was in Chicago and watched the event, and I thought there were a lot of people shooting three-pointers because it was 2 and 1, like twice as much instead of 1.
What is the NBA today? What are they doing? Shooting three-pointers.
I just thought a lot of people were shooting when they couldn't shoot. What was the thought reason of making it twice as much for a 3? And
Well,
is that something you might change?
So here's what I'll tell you about that. Those guys were shooting three-pointers because their ass wasn't in shape. They were tired, right? So I'm gonna put you on some game. That's what basketball players do. If you watching a game, right, and you see a guy, you be like, man, that's a terrible shot. It's because he's tired, bro. He don't want to drive and get to the basket. He don't want to have the contact. That's a bailout shot, and that's what you saw. Those guys were extremely tired. One-on-one basketball, you have to be in top-notch shape. Even if you go to 3, you could be tired as hell, right? But we played a 7 and we played a 9 for the championship. But there's nothing I can do about that but encourage these guys to get in tip-top shape, which I've been doing, you know, the whole season. And I saw my guys last night, and they look good. They look really good. So I don't expect to see that this weekend. I play in a 40 and up league. I just finished, what, it's about a month ago I finished up. My catcher was like 70 years old. It's no lie, true story. Y'all laughing. He was a really good catcher, man. He ain't throw nobody out, but he was a really good catcher. But no, seriously, I played in a 40 and up league. I just finished probably about a month ago. I can't get away from baseball, but go ahead, I'm sorry. The hardest part about it, that's a really good question, bro. I think, I haven't thought about that, man. It's what really, I think it goes back to when I said I put my GM hat on and had to go out and find guys to help me build OBL, right? Because I don't know everything. And I'll tell you, like, I need a team. Just like, you know, when I'm playing, whether it's with, you know, the Magic or the Rockets, hell, I can't go out and do all the rebounding. I can't do all the scoring. Like, I need teammates to help build this up. So I think the hardest part is going out and really putting a solid team together to, you know, be able to see my vision and how I want this to go. That was probably the hardest part of building this. All right then, sir.
There we go.
Now
Now we're done. All right, everybody, thank you. Let's give Tracy a round of applause.